Haiti, a small and recently earthquake-ravaged nation on the west part of the Hispaniola island. While the main city of Port-au-Prince suffered the most visible damage, many do not realize that for years basic infrastructure in other parts of Haiti are rudimentary at best and non-existent at worst. Even so, while it is poor in economy and infrastructure, it is a nation of resilient and faithful people who are rich in spirit. And when one adds hope to this equation, there becomes the almost tangible presence of possibilities and potential. And this can be seen and heard in this oasis called the House of Hope. Originally named the House of Hope for the Handicapped, it is a place purely of the heart that took in those discarded, broken, dying children and gave them hope. Hope for a more complete life of dignity and grace. It remains today as a bastion of salvation for children who are lost, abandoned, sick, loveless, or otherwise without even the hope of survival in this hostile and infrastructure-poor culture and society. At the same location, there is Port-au-Prince's only hospital. Ably managed by Linda Felix and her assistant Jenny Wright, the House of Hope takes in and cares for these children, not just for their physical needs. No, it is a care that comes from the heart and is delivered direct to the hearts and souls of these children. This is evidenced by the joyous song that seems to constantly break out in the facility. Upon our first arrival Saturday morning, our mission team, headed by Renel Noel, a native Haitian, and his wife, Helene, along with Kathleen Monahan, Regina Blunker, and myself, Brion Bell, were immediately greeted with children that had smiles on their faces, songs in their hearts, and abundant love and acceptance for all of us. As you may know, our mission there at the House of Hope was to provide physical, sanitary water fixtures, showers, toilets, and wash basins. And up to this point, these facilities were poor or simply non-existent. And of course, the reasoning behind this is simple. The greatest killer of all people in the island are diseases that result from a lack of sanitary water provisioning, including typhoid, hepatitis, amoebic and bacillary dysentery, and the biggest killer, cholera. As we entered the compound, which includes Port-au-Prince's only hospital, there were still UNICEF tents in place from the epidemic last year that killed thousands of local people, and some of these still had patients in them as well. But it seems that in the first few minutes of our visit, Kathleen, Regina, and myself, we sensed a change in our mission objective, and that was to give these children some attention, to validate them, to let them know that we see you, we know you're here, and we know that you need and want us here, as Kathleen put it. We also discovered that most of the actual physical work was being done by Renel, his nephew Wilnit, and a small crew of great men. Later, we'll show more of the different stages of this work being completed. Now this set us free to discover the community that is House of Hope, and the culture and community that is the surrounding village, and to document our discoveries and findings, and most important, to allow a mutual transfusion of our hearts with those of the children and their caretakers, so that we could really feel what it was like to live there, to be an albeit very small part of the fabric of this place. So hard to do in a mere 6 days. On our first day, and even though Renel and Helene were most gracious hosts to us in their home, we complained of the heat, the lack of accessible drinking water, cold showers, which actually became a blessing in that hot climate, and the lack of the comforts of home that we so amazingly take for granted here in our clean, quiet, safe, air-conditioned houses. As we walked back and forth to and from the House of Hope, we took in the city sights, and as you can see, people gathered on a daily basis alongside the road in front of where they lived to sell things on these narrow, rocky roads. The primary mode of transportation is a small motorcycle or a pickup truck, and these are considered taxis and buses, respectively, by local standards. It was interesting to see a young mother of 2 and her young children managing to sit crunched up on the rear of what amounts to a Honda 50, dressed and on their way to church, or even more interesting, their 70-plus-year-old grandmother, in church attire, dress, heels, and hat, bouncing on the back of another scooter following closely behind. We saw where at one time there was an attempt at providing electricity for the community. We saw poles, wires, even electric meters, but the reality is that all electricity that is provided comes from solar panel systems and generators. And of course, owning either or both of these is the rare case. Then there's the water. It trickles out of small pipes sticking out of a block of concrete. These water blocks are located about every few hundred yards and provide the only fresh water supply for the entire community. Our brother, Renel Noel, has set forth with determination to solve the sanitary water issues at House of Hope, the hospital, and the apartments that house volunteers, missionaries, and staff of the House of Hope. It began with the idea to drill down about 100 feet into the hard surface within the compound to place a submersible water pump, to bring water up and then utilize pressure tanks to move that water to a pair of cisterns located 800 feet away and 60 feet above the compound to provide gravity-fed water. These upper cisterns combine to hold a capacity of 58,000 gallons. That in itself was an amazing task, as you can see, and required dedicated and skilled workers and many hard hours of difficult work, drilling the shaft, mounting the pump, running the various feed pipes to and from the upper cisterns. Here Renel shows us the water flow coming from that submersible pump that is 100 feet below the Earth's surface, and here we're standing almost 60 feet above the surface and 800 feet away. He's explaining that the water comes out of the top part and of course is fed back out the bottom for the water supply down into the system. Pictured here is the work on the lower cistern with a capacity of 60,000 gallons. Water is fed into the system using a direct pressure pump located alongside the facility's generator. These two sources provide an even flow of water into the facilities using an ingenious system of special valves and hydroengineering. Once these water sources became available, it was time to build sanitary facilities to be able to use this precious water. It is at this point in this arduous project that the Miami Shores missionaries arrived on the scene, and when we did, we observed the work that had begun in providing these facilities, including toilets, lavatories, and showers, and even a specially designed baby wash basin. Of course, the next mission will work on the baby dryer unit. Besides the water conditions, there is also a profound scarcity of nutritious food here, and so our brother Renel has also taken great strides toward providing these children with a source of quality food. Working through his own organization, Friends of Humanity, and with contributions from organizations such as Change This World and Kids Against Hunger and a few individuals, Renel has been able to at least temporarily meet the challenges of feeding these precious ones. It is important to note, however, that Change This World and Kids Against Hunger can only provide food on an as-available basis. If they are not able to send food to Renel in a timely fashion, then he goes out to the local markets and purchases food to send. Then, of course, there's the activity of loading trucks and bringing the food to the docks in Miami to send to Haiti. While the food from Change This World is free, all shipping costs are shouldered by Renel and the Friends of Humanity organization and associate donors. Now, surely it can be said that these efforts have saved many lives of children and adults who come to the House of Hope compound and hospital. In their words, "My name is Saint German. I was sick with malaria when I came to the House of Hope. Now you can see I am healthy again. All I can say to you is thank you for helping us by your action toward the House of Hope. Whether it's by your prayers or the money you send to help us. You did not look at our race or our color, but you came to do this work for us. So we don't have a word to describe what it is you have done. You helped to feed us, clothing us, and sending us to school. I want to say, may the Lord continue to pour His blessing on you, your family, and everything you do."